Hello and welcome back. I'm very excited today because I have a new Siren to demo for you all. This will be the Code 3 RLS. A special thank you to Justin Selvage and Scott Spicer out in Ohio at Emergency Vehicle Professionals for getting me hooked up with this Siren unit. I would also like to take a moment and give a special shout out to the IPCOE, Independent Police Car Owners of Europe, specifically to Henry Sudau, who is currently fully restoring a Crown Victoria P71 from my hometown of Ventura to represent us in Germany. He graciously sent me this decal from the IPCOE, as well as an extra gift, his patch here, from the fire department which he works at, Berufsfeuerwehr in Hoyerswerda, Germany. So thank you, Henry, for that. I do appreciate your friendship and your generosity. So the RLS in many ways reminds me of the Federal Signal Smart Siren, with just a few key differences, being that one, your siren tones are now controlled with a knob rather than just straight up push buttons, as well as your arrow sticks are now on designated keys. That's the one thing I did not really enjoy on the Smart Siren, was that to get your left, right, and center out, you had to keep pushing the same button over and over. On this version, it's really straightforward. You can get the left, right, or flash with just one touch of a button, rather than cycling through all the patterns on the Smart Siren. Another major difference is that the air horn and manual buttons are nice and red, and they're easy to distinguish from the rest of the buttons. If you were to quickly look at this, you'd say, oh wait, where's the air horn? Oh, it's over here. Actually, there's no legend, but it is right here, and your manual is here. So a little harder to work with if you're in an emergency or trying to find your buttons quickly. So that is one thing I do like a little bit more on the RLS than the Smart Siren. One more thing to note too, your top keys here are soft push buttons, but I noticed too sometimes you can miss them. So if you push it, they don't always turn on whatever function you're looking for. That's the one thing I did like especially about the Smart Siren, is that the buttons are low pressure, so even if you barely touch them, they will come on. Rather, if you're in a hurry and you push a soft key on the RLS, you really have to make sure that you depress it properly, otherwise your function will not come on the moment that you want it to. So just one thing I found while kind of playing around with this unit. So the connections on the RLS are pretty straightforward. You have two big red wires coming out of the rear that will be connected to power, and you also have a small connection point on the bottom right corner of the unit. There's a positive and negative terminal there, so you'll have to connect a wire to each, and to positive and negative power respectively. The only other connection wire you're going to need is some sort of telephone jack cable, and one will plug into the front of the unit here, and of course the other is fairly obvious, goes into the back of the unit. And then you'll hear that sound, and that means you are powered on. The the green light will illuminate when a function is on. So in this case, it's set on radio rebroadcast. If I were to turn that to standby, off it goes. Back and off. So what I was saying earlier about the keys is if you push, you have to really make sure you push. If you push like a corner, it's a possibility that it might not come on all the time. In this case, they all worked, which is great, but just keep that in mind because that could possibly happen. Your arrow sticks are pretty straightforward. You have flash, you have left, right, and center out. Now, I currently do not have a traffic advisor set up, but I do have lights set up to this on the slide switch, which we'll go ahead and take a look at now. The lights that I have set up to this are pretty surface level, so just you'll have to excuse that part, but this is just to show the slide switch functions. So position 1. I also do have a timer hooked up so that it will beep while there is a function, any function on. I believe it's around a 10-second beep. That can actually easily be turned off on the back of the unit here. The light alert. So inside that little hole there are two little switches, and there's an on and off position. So you can just go ahead and click that to the off position, and that will turn off that timer. And position 3. And there you have it. That is the function of the slide switch, and all three, and every function for the lights will come on. Alright, and now we're going to move into the siren tones portion of this video, which will include the rumbler at the end. But first we're going to show the auxiliary function of being able to plug a phone or some sort of auxiliary device into the Code 3 RLS. So as you can see, you're able to play music. I also have some other Siren apps that you can use to play different sounds if you would like. The connection is not always 100% when connecting it to the unit through this jack, but for the purposes of this video, it's just fine for what we're intending it to do. Thank you, Chewy, for that. And now for the PA.
Check, test 1, 2, 3, code 3 RLS, testing mic 1, 2, 3.
Alright, so in the radio rebroadcast setting, only the air horn functions. You will not have any other siren tones, including the manual. And I am using two 100-watt speakers for this test. Now in standby, you will get the air horn as well as manual. test of the Code 3 RLS. Now, if there's anything specific you'd like to see, just let me know in the comment section and I will do my best to get that to you. And as always, we'll see you again in the next video.